In the beginning, according to the Bible, God created one human being, man. Why did he create only one? He could have, of course, created 1,000. If you know how to do one, you probably can do 1,000. Our ancestors replied, no, that's to teach us something very important. That in the beginning, humanity consisted of one human being. Therefore, when you do damage to somebody, you kill somebody, that is equivalent of killing humanity, because humanity at one time consisted of one human being. But the opposite is also true. If you help somebody, it's as if you're helping humanity. If you're doing something good for somebody, it's as if you're doing something good for humanity, because in the beginning, humanity consisted of one being only. But the Torah also says the following. God says, Lo tov heyota adam levado. It's not good for man to be alone. Well, every animal had a mate, but man didn't have. So God created woman. So man now has a mate. Man and woman compose really a family. Why do you need two? The Bible says, E'ese lo ezer kenegdo. We're going to make somebody who's going to be a helper for him. In front of him, he'll have a helper. Because marriage is an institution that has to be based on sincerity, authenticity. You know that when your wife or your husband tells you something, he really means that. When you are at the workplace or you're in a university, you know, what somebody else tells you may not always be what he really feels, because he may have other motives behind his mind. You know, he's thinking of something altogether. He is thinking of ascending. He wants to be your superior. And therefore, if he tells you what to do to be better, he won't be able to attain what he wants. I'm not saying that this is always so, but there's a possibility for it. In marriage, it isn't so. Because whatever happens to you, to your wife, what happens to your husband, happens to both. In other words, if your husband merits something, obtains something, the family unit obtains something. And on the other hand, if one of us goes down a rung in life's nominations, we are, of course, the entire unit goes down as well. So you have to bear in mind that marriage is a very unique institution. As a matter of fact, Judaism started as a family, because family is based on honesty, on authenticity, and a unit that advances together. It is very sad that nowadays this unit, the family, is being challenged. It isn't necessary. Many claim that one parent is enough. You don't need this unit of family. They want to initiate an altogether different definition of what human relations are. But we have to go back to what our sources, our roots are. I think that you can tell the difference between different nations. Those that advance more, it's because they have a solid family. There's a country called Vietnam. There was a Vietnam War. Most of us in the United States didn't know where Vietnam was until a war broke out. Vietnam was destroyed. You know, terrible things happened in Vietnam. Look at Vietnam today. Flourishing. Many things that you buy in the United States, clothing made in Vietnam. How did that happen? I think because of the family, because they know what the family unit is, and husband and wife serve each other as a point of help, but above all, as somebody who's going to stimulate that you can become better, you can grow, you can overcome many things. When somebody sees the good in you and stimulates you in that direction, I think that is a most important effect.